this war has changed the DNA of Israel. I've not seen it like this before, meaning people's hearts are so tender, they're frightened. Another question I heard more than once: why does the world hate us?
Oh,
And so this led to the conversations as to why.
upon arriving there, what was the feeling that you got? Like, what was the temperature?
There was a heaviness, a sobriety. Now, this was back in March when I was there. There were no tourists. The people, my colleagues, my friends, they were so amazed that I was there. I had opportunity to see the places where this war began. I met with from paramedics to soldiers to civic leaders. I was shown surveillance uh, cameras, videos that the world may not see, where I saw in horror Hamas breaking through these communities, literally just a few blocks from where we feed children. They had these pickup trucks with 50 caliber machine guns mounted on the back. And I saw on the videos of them literally mowing down people. Videos I saw of Hamas with RPGs, the shoulder rockets, jumping out into the street, blowing up a car with a family in it. Now, keep in mind,
Oh.
these videos I saw were recorded on the first day. This was Shabbat. This was Saturday morning. It would be for evangelicals, it would be like a lazy Sunday morning. People going to synagogue, going to visit family, friends. They were not expecting anything like this, completely caught off guard. And the horror was beyond explanation what I saw. There were over 1,100 vehicles that were blown up, torched, and I saw these vehicles. There was an ambulance that I saw that was completely torched. And the story behind this ambulance is this: that there were 16 people, some of whom were inside the ambulance, the rest were standing outside of the ambulance waiting to receive treatment because they were attacked, they were shot at, wounded in some capacity. And Hamas, with their weaponry, blew up the ambulance, killing all 16.
Hmm.
This kind of thing. So there's a sobriety, chatting with a captain, an IDF captain, a female uh, soldier in Tel Aviv, and she asked, where have you been since your time here in Israel?" And I told her down south, down where the festival was, the
Mhm.
Nova Festival, where 400 people were killed, and Sderot and all of that. And I asked her, I said, "Have you been there?" She goes, "No, I can't bring myself to go down there." It is such, sobriety is the word. There's just a heaviness, there's a grieving, there's an openness. Why does the world hate us? Today's news or yesterday's news, I mean, the United States, we're turning our back on Israel, and that's another story. So Israel is feeling this one very differently.
Mhm.
And so, but it's an opportunity for believers in Yeshua to be on our game, to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, to lovingly, not forcefully, but to lovingly share the gospel of Yeshua, and to come alongside in this environment of intense anti Semitism,
Mhm.
which is worse than it was in the 1930s, World War II, before World War II started. The universities, you know the news, the
Mhm.
fear, it's very real. very dangerous out there right now.
The Jews in this country, are they stepping up into this game where they're supporting Israel, or because I mean in the just recent past I don't think a lot of them did.
No, politically, that's a great question. Politically, here in the United States, and this is a generalized statement, it doesn't apply to every Jewish community here in the States, but many of the communities here in the United States are very liberal, very secular, and Israel, they may or may not be supportive of Israel, but all Jewish people are feeling this anti-Semitism, and that is what is unifying the Jewish community globally. And they're very frightened here in the States, in Israel, all around the world.
Mhm,
Uh, there is a great concern because it's only been a little over 70 years,
mhm,
and here it is again. And
mhm.
this started from day one. I mean, you can look at, Pharaoh to Haman to Herod to Hitler, uh,
Yeah.
the rest. But it's here, it's back,
Mhm, mhm,
and there's a fear out there and a concern. So
mhm.
everybody's dealing with it in their own way, and but it's here.
I am just wondering how many homeless people are out there in the Gaza Strip or anywhere in that area where Hamas is.
Let me say this now. Obviously, I am very pro-Israel, and I'm very much for the right for them to defend themselves. And at the same time, we all are concerned and hurt and grieve for the innocent. And I want to share some numbers with you here that will bring it home to your listeners. Listen, when the enemy puts rockets and munitions and store weapons and hide behind and in schools, hospitals, even under the UN buildings, tunnels and things. They're launching rockets from those areas, and you're an IDF. You're a soldier, and you have to go in to combat the enemy, but they are hiding in a school or a hospital, and this has been validated over and over again with news reports. The enemy is evil. The enemy is brutal. And I'll say these numbers slowly because it can be confusing. But we all know 7 months ago, October 7, over 1,200 murdered, uh, including the 400 at the festival, 250 taken hostages or taken hostage. Babies were decapitated. Some were put in ovens, Nancy.
Mm,
Women raped. Families were burned alive. It only took a month before the news media started to turn it and said Israel started this.
hmm
And even today's or yesterday's news about the hostages. Okay, there are over 130 hostages left that we know of, that we think we know of, and 38 of those are presumably they're dead. They're not alive. Hamas's response to give us the hostages and we'll make a deal. They said, we'll give you, for every hostage we give you, you release 50 prisoners. Hamas's goal is to release these lifers that are imprisoned. This was part of their uh, counteroffer, are infamous jihadists from the West Bank. They're celebrities with the fanatics in the West Bank. And Hamas says, we'll give you one hostage, you give us 50 prisoners. Many of those prisoners are these leaders that are revered with the fanatics in the West Bank. They're trying to inflame the West Bank in so doing, and then Israel will have that front to deal with as well. And the world, it is so complicated. It is so complicated, and I get it that the average person just shakes their head and say, "Well, we don't understand all of this."
Hmm.
All they know is what they see on the news, which is very biased. I have an app called Red Alert. It's free. It's an Israeli app, and you have to wait for the commercial sometime to get past that. It's the way that is. But it lets you know when rockets are launched into Israel or aircraft coming into Israel that shouldn't be there. Even before our conversation today, there were rockets being launched into northern Israel uh, by Hezbollah. But the questions from the soldiers, why do they hate us so? Is this the beginning of Gog and Magog? Their hearts are open. And again, the scripture speaks to that.
Be sure to join us on this week's program. Dr. Jeff talks about In the Last Days Prophecy. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts on our conversation by putting your comments below and visit thecallwithNancySabato.com to learn more about me and what we do here on the ministry. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. Your support means so much to us.
What sound does